Today, I want to talk to you about democratizing artificial intelligence. And what I mean by that is making AI and all of the applicable power from business transformation and disruption available to everybody in the world, not just the few large companies that are spending large amounts of money on it today, but every innovator, every startup, every small and medium-sized business. Now, I think that's incredibly important because artificial intelligence is actually changing every industry on the planet. The World Economic Forum has called it the fourth industrial revolution, and Andrew Ng, who's a former chief scientist at both Baidu and Google, has called it the new electricity. And I think that's a great way to describe AI. We've heard a lot of talk about it so far today, but the real impact is going to touch every single business on the planet, just like electricity did. From finance to healthcare to even agriculture, we're going to see dramatic shifts in how the world works, and we're going to see it at a pace that we've never seen before. When the World Economic Forum gets together every year in Davos, they've been talking about AI and the fourth industrial revolution now for 3 years running as one of, if not the prime topics. And the reason isn't because it's a new technology. The reason is because it changes the way society works. When you have heads of state, CEOs of major corporations getting together, and they're talking about something, it's because of the impact that it's going to have on the world. And you can see from this chart behind me, it's continuing to happen faster and faster. Every successive iteration we've gone through, from steam to electricity to the digital age where most of us have lived our lifetime, now moving into the world where artificial intelligence is driving the way business works. And you can see that quote from Jeff Bezos. You know, it's hard to overstate how big an impact AI is going to have on society over the next 20 years. And there's going to be some tremendously positive outcomes from that. If you look at a report that PricewaterhouseCoopers came out with, they believe that there's over $15 trillion that's going to be added to the global GDP within the next 12 years. That's over $1 trillion a year. Now, unfortunately, in the world that we're living in today, most of that's going to a few companies. You look at the large centralized organizations that are both investing in AI and owning large amounts of data, and it's created a situation where innovation's happening, but it's being relatively stifled because it's only happening within a few companies, and we're also seeing some negative outcomes from that. You look at the Cambridge Analytica Facebook issue, and I think we can all agree that moving toward a further centralization of data ownership and access to AI isn't something that's in any of our best interest. So, what we're trying to do is create a situation where we don't have this collection of power within a few major players, but are distributed to everybody. And it goes to kind of our thesis of, if you think about the impact that the internet had on the world, AI is going to have a very similar impact. Now, imagine if you're a small and medium-sized business trying to compete today without the internet. You wouldn't be able to. And unfortunately, if we don't do something soon, not having access to AI at the same level that large corporations do is going to pose the same problem for innovators and small and medium-sized businesses around the world. So, at Agorai, what we're trying to do is democratize that access. Now, the first question many people ask is, when you say we, who are you? Who's your actual team? This is something that I'm really proud of. We put together a team that I believe is best in class in the industry. I used to run data and artificial intelligence for one of the largest digital agencies in the world, Publicis.Sapient. You know, I had the fortune or misfortune of being one of the largest clients of some of the aforementioned large players, the Googles and Microsofts and Facebooks of the world. But we put a team together that's purpose-built for being able to create a meaningful business that provides access to the corporate world and knows how to actually stand up and run a large enterprise operation at a global scale. Many of our team have run very large P&Ls. We've had exits of over billions of dollars across our team. We have multiple CTOs from Fortune 500 companies. I think at a rough count, we've had, across our different team members, 7 Fortune 500 CTO roles in our team. We've had CEOs of exchanges advising us. So we really have put together a team that I think is unique in this space and is well suited to do something that is build a business that is fundamentally going to enable everybody to transform the world. And that leads into the concept of what I like to call applied blockchain. Rather than a lot of the protocol level solutions which we've talked about, which I think are massively important, what we're trying to do is actually apply that. If you go back to that same analogy of the internet days, there were the original innovators of the protocol and the underlying technologies, the TCP/IPs and then the Yahoos and Googles of the world, who made it easy to use the internet and made it available for everybody. But there was the next wave of transformation that happened with the Amazon.coms of the world, and the companies that actually applied that technology to disrupt businesses. That's where we see the real upside for artificial intelligence, and the intersection with blockchain is you look at the ability to break that centralized construct and move to a decentralized model for both data and the AI tools in a secure, transparent way that isn't censored and controlled by a few large corporations. So, without further ado, Agorai is the intersection of those two marketplaces. An AI marketplace that is a distribution channel for people to contribute AI tools for use by businesses, and a data marketplace that enables people to actually feed data into those tools and be compensated for it. So, to make it real, let me walk through a few examples of what vertical solutions we plan to have out of the gate before we start opening it up to the community to add their own. The first, very straightforward. There's over 5 million videos, or 5 billion videos viewed online per day. And with AI, we can actually build applications that assess what's in those videos. How do I actually show relevant information to people from an advertising point of view that gives them access to purchase those same clothes, purchase those same products in a way that is helpful and useful, and also creates a new revenue stream for those companies that desperately need it right now. The next is looking at how do I understand my customer base, my users. Now, this is just a very simple bubble chart that I did in literally a couple of seconds on my own Twitter feed. But you could do this for large groups of people and very quickly extract out what are the concepts that these people care about, what matters to them from a contextual point of view. And this is something that natural language understanding can be applied to today in a really impactful way as you try to understand large segments of your customer base. When you talk about logistics and supply chain, the ability to actually use AI combined with the data that's out there is enabling people to drive 10 to 15% reductions in their operating expenses. For a business that typically runs on thin margins, that's an absolutely game-changing impact. And finally, when you talk about commerce, actually purchasing things, people say that an image is worth 1,000 words. Well, there's 3 billion images posted per day on the internet that we can actually translate into actionable insights about what people care about. And I've put the number 50% up here that I've seen actual uplift in conversion, but I've honestly seen conversion rates lift as high as 300% in some cases, where you're able to take the right data and really refine what you put in front of consumers. When you talk about changing the way a business works, that's fundamental. So, we're not going to do this alone. We have to involve others because this is a big project, it's a big program. So the first thing that I'm very excited to announce today is a partnership with Daddy. Daddy provides decentralized fog capabilities for storage and compute. And we think that by partnering with them, we're going to be able to provide an alternative to some of the higher cost storage options for everyone using our platform. We're very excited about that. The other partnership that we have is with Ocean Protocol. Many of you know Ocean, doing some tremendous work at the intersection of data and decentralization and how to manage that, and really have been thought leaders in this space for an extended period of time. So we're excited to partner with them and work through how we can leverage what they've been doing to accelerate the marketplaces that we're building. Now, from an acquisition point of view, which is where a lot of our capital is going to, the first is the underlying core pieces, so people can build vertical AI solutions, your machine learning platforms, your natural language, your machine vision tools. The next wave is your vertical apps, because we do want to seed the marketplace with some applications out of the gate that everybody can use. So looking at digital ad placement like I showed you, intelligent voice search, brand insights, these are things that people can use tomorrow that add real value to their businesses from a bottom line point of view. So to summarize what we've covered so far, Agorai is decentralized marketplaces for AI tools that gives access to everybody around the globe, allows people that are building solutions to have a distribution channel that they can put their products into and have it consumed and used by everybody around the world, and a way for people to take their data assets and monetize those and let them be consumed by AI tools in a safe and secure way. We put together a world-class team to do it, and we're partnering with some of the best and brightest in the blockchain space to make it happen. Now, the last piece is, how do you make the economics work? This is an area that I think we've all been struggling with a little bit, and a lot of it's due to lack of regulation in some areas. But personally, I felt like there's a gap between how to value things in the crypto world versus the traditional fiat world. And over time, I think that will get sorted, but we want to accelerate that. So what we're really trying to do is bridge the chasm between those two. And the way we're doing that is via a security token, thinking about this as a pure security, starting with the same token sale process that everybody else has. And we're coming out of stealth mode literally today, so very excited to be talking to all of you and working through how we make this real. But as we go through that pre-sale and then final sale, moving into a different construct where the holders of tokens actually receive an ongoing dividend payment based on the revenue that the company produces. So it's a very explicit tie between the performance of the company and the value that gets transferred to the holders of those tokens. We think that this is a structure that creates a compelling bridge between the company and the crypto world in a way that funds and individual holders of tokens will get great benefit from over the coming years, and I believe will actually become the primary model of capital formation in the coming years. From a timeline point of view, for Agorai, we're going through the capital raise process over Q1 and Q2. But then we're moving into Q3, where we're actually standing that platform up and pilot with some of those very specific vertical apps that companies can start to use. So as we build traction with people actually paying money to leverage the platform, then going into the marketplace launch at the end of this year, enabling everybody around the world to contribute their own contributions, their own data assets, and then going into 2019 and expanding that ecosystem. When you look at those 4 examples that I went through earlier, each one of them has tremendous, tremendous savings. And I put together what it would have cost me when I was working at Publicis to do these individual solutions. And I can tell you, I wish I had something like Agorai when I was there, because the ability to find tools that would fit my need and the ability to do it in a cost-effective way simply isn't something that exists today. And you can see the economics are incredibly compelling as we look at what it would cost companies to do this through our marketplace versus what it costs from a bespoke point of view right now. And this is really a testament to the power of decentralization and the power of scale as we look at doing things across a large organization. So in summary, what we're trying to do with Agorai is democratize access to artificial intelligence. We have a team that is seasoned and experienced to do it. We have a financial construct that shares the benefit of what we're doing with every single token holder. We have partnerships that are going to accelerate our time to market and ability to get things done. And at the end of the day, we're trying to tackle a problem that's going to create innovation and opportunity for every single person in this room and every single person around the world. So from a passion point of view, this is what we're all excited about. And I hope you share my enthusiasm for this. We're going to be here over in the main area for the next couple days, and I look forward to having conversations with each of you about what we're trying to achieve. Thank you very much for your time.